Hello there.
Hello here. Hello there. Hello everywhere.
Roy
Hello,
Kent.
Sky.
Roy Kent.
Hello. how does the words go?
Where's it go?
You probably don't.
He's here. He's there. He's every.
My name is Patrick.
Oh, Roy Kent. We're in. Oh, it's gonna be that kind of show.
Patrick.
So I was trying to find the words to Goodnight Moon.
Yeah.
Which is really silly because it's basic. And I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, I don't want to buy it. I just want to know the word. Oh, it's a book. Right.
So
that's what you do with the
knowing the words to the book is the book. That's what I need to start doing on books that I want to buy. Just search for the lyrics for the book.
Why didn't I think of this sooner? All of these years.
It was so simple.
Gosh. Yeah, but I found them. You laugh, but then I found them. Yeah.
It may be like a Gutenberg project or something.
It's Goodnight Moon by Margaret Weiss Brown.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to send a link to you so you can put it. You can put it in the show notes.
Yep. All right. Show notes. We'll start some show notes.
That's oh, we don't do.
I was doing them for a while, but I'd stopped because I don't think anybody looks at that, especially not the YouTube people.
I feel like this is the kind of thing that happens in a relationship. Like, you're in a relationship with somebody for years, and this is you just assume something happens. Like, I can imagine this would happen like with the furnace filter or something. Like it just comes up sometime at some point, like 7-8 years into the relationship, into living with somebody, and like this show notes comment, there's an aside. There's somebody who says, well, when you change the furnace filter, you can do this thing.
Right.
And the other person says, honey.
I do what?
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't change any furnace filters. I don't even know what that is. Oh, no, we may have a problem.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah.
It's kind of close to that.
Like that.
We had a problem with our dishwasher the other night, and it happened a couple of times where, like, when it got done, like completely done, it there would be this really rapidly blinking. It was like normal wash or whatever would be rapidly blinking, and that had never happened before. And when I would try to push like power to maybe turn it off, it would turn off, and then the pump would kick on, and it would seem to be like pumping out like a little bit of stuff, but it would stay on for a long time, and it would cut off, and then it would be blinking again. And it wasn't until like the next day when it would just like chill out and stop blinking. Well, I looked it up, of course, and apparently there's some moisture sensor in there, and it says there's a moisture sensor that has been tripped, and you need to figure out what's wet. And so I pulled out the thing.
Well, what do you mean? It's a dishwasher. Wait, what do you mean there's a moisture sensor? Of course there's... It's a dishwasher.
Right. But I would assume that you don't want to sense moisture in the chamber that is full of water. I'm sure that at that point you're like, we expect moisture to be there. This is somewhere where moisture is not supposed to be, is getting tripping the sensor, right? And so I took it out and I looked for leaks. I can't find anything. I ran a whole, load or sequence or whatever with it out, looking for any kind of dripping or anything. Nothing. Mm-hmm. We start digging around in there. Emily Googles it and finds like a forum where somebody said that they found some moisture like in this they took a panel off the bottom of the actual chamber, and there was something in there had gotten clogged up or something. And so I opened that up, and there's this strange looking, it's like not triangular exactly, but it's like rounded in a vaguely triangular. It was inside.
It's beneath the twirly thing.
Right. It's directly beneath the twirly thing.
Yeah.
And
the triangle, is it metal?
No, it's plastic actually. But it had a lock and an arrow written on it, and so I unlocked it and pulled it up. Okay. And there's a filter in there.
Yeah, I know.
There's a filter in that thing. And it was, it was no longer filtering anything. I had no idea.
You just saw 12 months of meals, right? Like, you're like, I remember when we had that.
Was 12 months of calcium buildup. It was all crunchy white calcium stuff, like hard water stuff. And and it wasn't dishwashing detergent, because we don't use the powdery kind that would make that kind of a sort of, I don't know, which precipitate kind of thing. But so it was definitely CLR kind of stuff.
That's a goofy word, by the way. Precipitate. It's not precipitation. It's just the beginning of precipitation.
It's what precipitation creates. Precipitate.
Yes.
I think I'm saying that right. Anyway, the point is...
I don't know. It's fun. It's a fun word. I'm going to use it more often.
There was a whole cylinder. I might not use it correctly, but I'm using it. Well, hey, that's the most important part. It's the thought that counts. But yeah, there's a whole cylinder, practically, encased in this calcium buildup that I had no idea was even in there. As long as I've been alive, and as many dishwashers as I've had, I had no idea there was a little filter under there. That's crazy.
You went spelunking in your dishwasher.
I did.
And I'm a little jealous because I feel
found
like you have
karst
now ventured
topography.
You have ventured further into the depths of your dishwasher than I have ever, and I don't know how I feel about that. I feel a little left out. I need to go.
We can
my dishwasher.
Go through the adventure together if you like.
But it's not. The thing is, I know the spot under the spinny thing. Mm-hmm. You can take that off, and then there's it's like a food filter. It's like where the water drains.
Right. That's about where this is.
And that's where, and sometimes I'll get in there and I'll find oh, look, that piece of broccoli's not going anywhere. Right. That's never going to go. Or, this must be a piece of a chopstick. Oh, I don't know. I never knew what happened to that. And you shouldn't dishwash your chopsticks. But here it is.
It doesn't do well. Unless they're metal.
Or other stuff, right?
Yeah.
But I've never gone beyond that.
Mm.
I don't know if there's a world beyond that.
Yeah,
that I
guess there is. Yeah. Yeah.
But that is the nastiest when you dig that stuff out.
Oh yeah.
It is. There's something about cleaning out old food. Mm-hmm. It's like reaching down into garbage disposal.
Oh, God,
and having to why is that nastier than picking up my dog poop? I don't know.
Well, I don't know.
There's times where I'm picking up dog poop, and I know you want to hear about this. I'm picking up dog poop, and there's a hole in the bag or something, and in the finger. And I got poop in the finger. Poop in the finger.
You got
dog poop in the finger. But I'm not freaking out about it. I'm like, oh my God, I'm just going to wash my hands. I put my hand in the garbage disposal.
Yeah.
That is relatively fresh.
Right.
And I can't stand it. I'm like, oh.
And I think maybe it's the high water content. I mean, it's very mushy and
it is mushy.
And that temperature is unsettling. It's not.
It's warm.
Warm. It's warmer than it should be. It's not hot or It's why is it that warm?
It's like mulch. It's like a pile of mulch. It's
what's up with
steaming.
Why is it so hot?
It's bacteria. Disgusting.
Oof. Yeah. See, I don't want to know about these kind of processes. But so look in your thing and pull the cylinder of
I feel like you're gonna need to you need to provide pictures.
I wish I had taken a picture of it completely caked
You're
up.
gonna have to go
I
back.
sat under the water and just kind of broke it up. I didn't think about like using white vinegar or anything like that, and I need to do that. But
As opposed to the brown vinegar?
Yeah, apparently. Oh, I don't know. Maybe brown vinegar.
I like red
works.
wine. I guess red wine vinegar would.
It would give it a certain Italian flair, but the white vinegar is good at getting like that's what you run through your coffee maker and stuff.
Or down the AC condensate drain, which
where the precipitate is.
Dude, I am in condensate hell this week because
condensate hell.
The AC at my house and like the line there and the line here are like the one. Here's the thing: the one at home, I actually tend to. I put vinegar down the line every once in a while, and it's a relatively new system. But this thing, the one unit was backing up again, and I even had to purchase a different kind of auger because this like the snake thing. The traditional ones, they're too big to be able to make those 90-degree turns in that 3/4 inch PVC. Yeah. So you have to get like the thinner kind. This is like really kind of cool. I actually thought about it because as I was searching for this, I saw they have the endoscopic ones that have so you can actually have a little camera on it. I'm like, Jason, stop. You don't actually need that. Because all you're going to
create content.
All you're going to see is a wall of nastiness. Stop! You don't do that.
And now we go into the toilets of the tangled bathrooms. Look at the magic.
There's a market. There is a market for everything, though. There's a market.
There is.
Here with the bowels. So we go. So I ordered it for home, but then the next day, the AC stopped working here, and then it occurred to me as I opened the little drainage thing and I look, and it's packed, and then it occurs to me, well, of course it's packed, Jason. You've never done a darn thing with this in 2 years. Of course it's going to be packed full of crud. And then now I was draining that. I was having to snake that thing yesterday,
and this is what line? Because I asked because I haven't been doing whatever this is you've been doing.
Okay. I'll show you. Okay. So coming off of your AC unit, okay, which is probably located in your garage, I imagine.
No, it's actually on the third floor.
Somewhere else upstairs.
We're talking about the air handler unit, right?
Yeah. Is it above your in the ceiling, or is it?
Yeah, it's up there. It's up above our washer and dryer. Like way above.
You can get to it though.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so there should be a line coming off of that is like PVC, and it should have a little. There's two parts to it. One will go somewhere, right, to drain outside, and the other it'll have like a little trap look to it, and there'll be a little noggin sitting on top of it that has like a float device, so that if the water backs up, that float device will get triggered, and that will shut off your unit. Oh, what you want to do is periodically, typically when you change the furnace filter, you are supposed to pour like a cup of vinegar down the line, down that drain line. Usually you can pop the cap off and pour vinegar down it just to keep things from building up in there. Mm-hmm. That's the theory. Okay. Yours may be different. You may also have one, or you may only have one. Oh, I think you'd have it both places, maybe out at the actual AC unit itself, which should be outside.
Yeah, it's down at the end of the building.
But that one's probably fine, I'd imagine.
Apparently people come around and look at those.
Oh, well then you're fine.
We have a guy. But
yeah. So I would just
if it's something that's in here that I need to be looking at though. Check that out.
But the chances that it would back up all the way there, you just don't want it backing up, because then, you just snake it. And I think the other thing I need to purchase is I don't have a shop vac anymore. I don't have like the wet dry, whatever you call them, shop vacs. I call them shop vacs. I don't know when. I don't have it anymore. So I need to get another one because those are really handy as well for helping to clean lines out like that.
I bet.
Suck it. You can blow it. You can.
Yeah, reminds me of college.
I'm going to stop saying those words. I'm going to. Shop back. Oh, okay. So, but like a lot of people this week are having, and by a lot of people I mean me, are having like appliance issues and just house wear and tear issues. My dryer it sounded like there were little, I don't know, squirrels or gerbils in there or something, like
you got dryer
being
gerbils.
Slaughtered. Yeah, it was like Michelle and I were sitting there watching Man in the High Castle, and I hear this like, oh no,
sounds like a belt issue.
And I guess, but then there were towels in there, so like, well, maybe it's too much weight or something, so I pulled the towels out and lightened the load, and it did a little bit, but then it went away. And then when I did the rest of the towels, it did it again, but then it went away. And it hasn't happened with other stuff. So I'm thinking maybe it was just, I don't know, maybe it's belt, maybe it's bearings or something. I don't know.
Maybe it is gerbils.
But it could actually just be gerbils.
You got dryer gerbils, man. It is Florida. I mean,
it could be. Chris, a friend of the show, Chris, who lives out in California in the middle of the redwood forest somewhere.
As opposed to the other forests. They're made of glass and stuff.
He took this picture. He has these cats that will bring various animals into the house as their trophies or playthings. And he found a squirrel. He types in this message. He says, "There's like in caps with exclamation marks. There's a squirrel in my studio." And a squirrel in my study. There was a squirrel in my study. And I wrote back and said, I hope that's not a euphemism.
Yeah. Does that mean you're crazy? What does that mean?
So it's weird stuff happening. Other people I know, of course, the AC unit in Florida is the hardest working appliance in the house. And so this is a particularly hot week, even by Florida standards. So it's not a surprise that those kinds of things are happening. But our dishwasher is falling apart slowly also.
Oh, is it?
And I know it's under warranty. Well, here's the thing. We didn't buy it. It was purchased by the people who sold us the house. And they had replaced everything in the kitchen after Hurricane, was it Irma in 2017?
No.
And they had to replace the roof and the kitchen and everything. Yeah. So everything's newish as of 2017. And now we're probably outside that warranty period for stuff like dishwashers and things. But there's stuff that's happening that just shouldn't happen. Like the rack in the dishwasher has just been rusting away.
Ugh.
Like there's pieces. I guess there's probably like a little nick that got in there, and then the water got to that, and then it starts to eat away inside. And
We've
then
had a couple of
it's
the
just
tines that like hold your plates up.
like that.
We've had a couple of those break off because I guess they rust. Just right, and like you said, they like rust catches hold in there somehow, and then it comes off.
Why wouldn't you put galvanized? I know you're going to coat it.
I don't know.
Anyway, so now like I've got this perfectly fine dishwasher, but it's falling apart and it's like slowly deteriorating. and I don't know whether I'm not the kind of person I should be, but I'm not the kind of person who's likely to like replace. I'm not going to go to, I don't know, whatever the manufacturer is online and say, yeah, I need to get a replacement drawer, top load. Like, really?
See, I totally did that with ours. Did
it work out?
Yeah. The little, okay, you know,
you can do it for me then.
The compartment that you pour the soap in and then you shut the thing, you know, over it and you click. It's completely just stopped tripping the thing that opened the door. Like it for whatever reason, that piece didn't work anymore. And so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get on here and see if somewhere has parts. I'm gonna get a new unit that has that compartment in it because it's an obvious self-contained thing because it's got that tank and the little tank that you put the what is it called? The
rinse aid, which no one really uses because no one really knows what it does.
I keep calling it Affresh, but that's the stuff that goes in the washing machine. But anyway, And so they sent it, and and then I had to go.
We got to come back to Affresh because I've never heard of that in my life. So we're
I mean, there's probably a setting on your washing machine that specifically calls it out. But yeah, I had to get on the internet and like pirate the complete service manual for my dishwasher. I had to like find it on this weird download site, but I found it. And I ended up having to take that whole friggin' door apart. Like I had to pull all kinds of stuff because it has to be like, undone from the inside of the door. And so I had to open all of that stuff up, release that, bring the new thing in, and then put it all back together. And it worked. It works great. And it's been working perfectly since. Like that thing lasted about 6 months of us living here. And it was a new dishwasher when we got the place, and that thing just petered out.
When you take something like that apart, like, oh man, if I can't put this back together, not only is it a problem because I don't have, but I'm in trouble. Like you're going to be in trouble.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know.
If you fix it, if you fix the level of hero status is not to me, it doesn't equal. Like you do something like that. I don't know about Emily, but like I would do something like that. Michelle wouldn't be like, wow. Waiting, like that's amazing.
Like, that wasn't exactly why I did it. I did it so that the soap would come out, but
no, I know, but if it doesn't work out, then you're totally getting the blame for this thing. Like it's like,
well, that's kind of the thing, right? I weighed these two options. I said I can either call the guy and have him fix this, or I can take a chance that I won't need to call the guy. But if I screw this up, then I got to call the guy, and I was going to have to call the guy anyway. So
yeah, but then it's true. Well,
I mean, this is obviously how you replace this. It was completely not functional,
right?
Yeah, well, I mean, we could technically run the thing, but you had to run it with the thing open, and so it just kind of the soap into the thing. And I don't know that's how this.
If you mic the inside of your dishwasher, that's actually what it sounds like.
When it opens up, it's like, there you go.
Exactly.
There's the soap for you.
That's how you know it's working.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I followed the procedure you follow to replace the thing. So that's what that guy was going to have to do anyway. So, hey, whatever, and on top of that, even if I did have to call the guy, I wouldn't need to pay for parts because here's the part. So it was kind of a win-win situation. I did not get the part for free. No. But I wouldn't have had to buy another version of that part from him. I would have already had it.
Tell me about this Affresh.
Okay, so Affresh is welcome to the appliance episode.
Is it refresh? Is it?
I think it's Affresh, Affresh, I believe. And it's this stuff that you run. There's a setting for it on most washers now, and you just kind of throw it in there, and then put it on that setting. And it kills mildew and bacteria that accumulate down there and may cause your stuff to start smelling bad.
This is another Fel's Naphtha moment. Like
and how did that turn out? You learned that there was really actually Fel's Naphtha.
What is? I've never heard of this Affresh. I don't have a setting on my washer for Affresh.
You're sure? How old is your washer?
Yeah, pretty sure. It's relatively new.
I think
probably like 5 years or so.
You might find yourself surprised.
It's supposed to be like internet enabled, which is a joke. What I find surprising. It's not really though, right? It says
why?
It flirts at being, because I guess you can get an alert on your smart device or something. It flirts at it, but you try to set that up anytime. There's no chance. I can't even get Alexa to shut the lights out properly. There's no chance we're going to get the washer talk to me. Anyway,
well, we talked about my friggin' oven that's connected to the internet, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's if you're in Hawaii or friggin' Mongolia, and you look at your app and you left the oven on and all 4 burners on, you have it on your phone, but you can't control the thing from the phone. You just go, oh great, my house is burning down.
Now I know.
Right.
I know.
Now I'm aware of this thing I can do nothing about.
Right. What's shocking is that okay, I think we've talked about this. I'm on a rant again.
Yay.
I should be able to select any sequence of things that I want on the washer. Like they have those programs where if you select like a certain setting, well now you're locked out of selecting say cold or hot or extra dirty or just a little dirty. Like why
mildly dusty.
The only way I have access to all the options somehow is to put it on a timed cycle, like as opposed to one that's auto cycle. What is with that? Okay,
I don't know.
So there's that problem. However, on the dryer has a setting specifically for towels.
Okay.
The washer does not have a setting for towels. It's the same like make model pair. It's like they're like, why would it be why does the dryer need to know that there's towels, but the washer was indifferent to the towel situation?
Yeah. Like I wouldn't be washing this any differently if it was towels, but the dryer's like, hey, I totally dry things specially if they're towels.
Right. And towels when you think about it, towels have a lot of complexity to them because there's an entire like New Girl episode about the towel situation and how
is there
like the one character's apparently doesn't wash his towels. Like, why would I wash the towel? I'm clean. Like there it is. It turns out he was also using the wrong towel. All this time he thought his towel was like this other towel, which is like his roommate's towel.
That had to be wacky.
Yeah. Anyway, but I see
that.
I'm,
I should be
I'm
watching that
towels, and I don't know what it is. I'm like, I don't know whether I'm supposed to use hot or eco warm. I don't know whether I should have on like heavy duty or light. I don't even know. I secretly don't even know what eco warm is.
Yeah, I think
assume
it's just
like,
it doesn't do anything.
Is it just not trying?
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
But then why is cold an option? It's not like it's chilling it. It's not like I don't hear like the little cocktail shaker like at action or something. Like what is
the water? It like hooks up with a fridge downstairs and a little water dispenser. It goes. Yeah, I don't know.
Right. What's with that? What is eco warm?
I'm still
I really don't know.
Completely flabbergasted.
And should I feel bad for using regular warm?
I don't think you should. I mean, if ExxonMobil is out there polluting the way that they're doing, you making your water a little hotter isn't doing squat.
But am I damaging the towels or am I helping them get clean? I don't know. I figured
hotter is better when it comes to getting things clean, right? Surely.
Because it works on my hands.
Right.
It works on my dishes.
If I'm literally everything.
That dish. You have that dish that has stuff on it and like ketchup. Oh my goodness. If ketchup has been sitting on a plate for longer than 17 minutes, it is like the most. They should build houses out of ketchup.
Yeah, it's like it's like the Renaissance in egg tempura. It's like freaking baked into the friggin'. It's like a fresco. It is now part of the plaster of this building.
And oatmeal.
Oh God!
Oatmeal,
any grain really? Oatmeal, rice, like anything that's starchy like that, man. No way. Man. It's somehow when it dries, it becomes like harder than it was before you cooked it. Like it somehow becomes even harder and pointy.
And that stuff is like plaster.
It's like, and you like cut yourself on it.
And trying to wash that, like. If you try to wash that with eco warm water,
oh God, it's going to laugh at you. and call you names.
You've got to have hot water.
Yeah.
And so I figure that hot water is going to be better for getting stuff off my towels.
Yeah, exactly. And killing like whatever, like mildew.
But why
or
do I have to
whatever.
think about it? Why is it I don't have to think about sportswear? I don't even know what that means. Like sportswear. Okay.
Did you sweat on it?
They don't have. They don't have underwear. They should have underwear. They don't have underwear setting.
Yeah, you'd think that they
underwear
would.
needs its own setting. Why don't
Especially
they have
in Florida.
Underwear should have its own setting.
You can walk around with the swamp ass like without much effort at all, and there needs to be a setting for that.
No, you know when you get here, you get swamp. I don't know about you, but like people are loving this. Yeah, you ever get like swamp waste. That's what you get. You get swamp waste.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like the other day, and I came back Monday night after I was in Epcot, and that is that period of the day where everybody thinks it's going to be great because the sun has gone down and the rain has stopped. The rain will cool everything off. Baloney.
Yeah.
Baloney. The rain has just contributed massively to the relative humidity, and you're going to die.
And it's all settled on very, very hot concrete, and so it's becoming.
Florida's coming for you.
It's becoming
coming for
water
you.
vapor.
In the dark. It's like the tiger has come out into the field,
yes.
and you don't know where it is, and so you get back.
This giant sloth that just kind of goes.
And you're like, I don't understand why I'm sweating. I'm wet. I am completely wet, but from the inside.
Yes.
And it's 70 degrees. Like, how is this possible?
Because the air is at 190% humidity, and there's nowhere for your sweat to go. The air's like, I don't want none. We got a plenty.
Exactly, because the dew point is like 70. It's like, oh, well, welcome to 100% saturation.
Yep.
And guess what? It's all dewy on me now. And
right,
now,
exactly.
So
you sweated. Oh, you got sweat on you? Well, here's some more water for you. Let's put some on top of that.
Thank you very much. Take some with you. Take it. It's like the Jewish mother of weather. Here, take it. Hey, no. Have some more. Have some more. Have some more. A little bit more. Yeah, have some more. I'm very generous. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You look like you may be getting a little dry there. Here. Here's some more.
Exactly. So you get home and I'm like, oh. But mostly it's all here at the waist because that's where everything's being captured as it's running to South America.
Right.
It's like there at the equator, the Great Wall.
Like everything that drips downward on your upper body gets absorbed with that waistband, and then it just becomes a sponge.
Ironically, not so ironically, you know what's right next to that waistband?
Patrick?
That belt that I haven't washed.
The belt, yes.
Ever. Yeah.
It's growing mushrooms now because it's so freaking humid and dark.
Dude, I don't want to know. I can never culture that belt ever. Ever. That belt knows things about me that I don't even know about me.
Right.
That belt, no, that belt. Affresh.
Affresh. Fresh
I'm going to
so
look.
fresh.
I'm pretty sure I don't have a setting for it. It looks like a supplement.
It might surprise you. You think you might.
Wait, it's made by Herbalife?
I think there's multiple.
What the heck?
I don't.
Why would you put an energy drink in your washer?
I think that might be the wrong one.
What have you been doing? Oh, wait, no. Okay. Affresh with one F is a revolutionary new AI-powered fresh operating... No, that's a system. Never mind.
I was going to say an AI-powered energy drink.
What's like
Giuseppe moonlighting?
Affresh grocery store... Affresh is a grocery store operating system. Oh, that's interesting. It's also an Herbalife product that's an energy drink. Wow. And apparently it is also an appliance cleaner. But that's with two Fs. Affresh with two Fs is the appliance cleaner.
The appliance cleaner. Mm-hmm. And the energy drink, is that one or two Fs? Like we have...
The energy drink.
We have two options and three things.
The energy drink seems to be one...
One F and then the...
F. Yeah.
Grocery store
I didn't think Herbalife
system.
was even still in... Are they still in business?
Apparently.
Herbalife? Isn't that a pyramid scheme kind of thing? And no offense to anybody who's selling Herbalife, but you may want to talk to us later. Talk to us later. Offline. We'll talk to you offline.
And look up the documentary on LuLaRoe. But wait.
Go ahead.
Oh, but yeah, the appliance setting situation. I think we did. Have we talked about this? Where my dryer,
I feel like we must have.
has a setting for damp. Like you can push a button and it'll make your stuff damp. And,
it's like wrinkle release.
And there's
like wrinkle release or something, right?
There's a like freshen or whatever, which will kind of do that. It's like 20 minutes or something, and it'll kind of get the wrinkles out. But it's like there's a damp, and then there's normal, and then there's like very dry. And it's like, why is very dry not the default? Why is that not normal? Very dry is what the thing is called, a dryer. It makes things dry. Why would you stop before it was very dry? It makes no sense. That is not what it's set on. Like, you have to choose to be less dry than very dry. Not you have to choose, do I want it kind of dry, or do I want it very dry, or do I want it damp? No, very dry is what it should be on when you turn the thing on. And then you decide, okay, maybe I don't need it as dry as I thought. And I don't know why that would be, to me, for one. If it's in the dryer at all, then it should be okay to make it very dry. Considering, again, and I can't stress the importance of this fact enough, the item is called a dryer. It makes things dry. That's the point of it. It has that name for that reason. So that should be the default. Very dry. And if you don't put it on very dry,
I think mine says more dry. I think mine
may be more dry. It may be more dry than it is. But like more dry than dry? What? You're admitting that the thing is running completely correctly in all the default settings, that it could get more dry than this thing does. But this one decides, I'm going to stop just short of dry. It's not called the almost dryer. It's called the dryer. And it's one of those things that I know it's not going to change, because I'm not doing anything to change it myself, and I'm not going out and getting a new dryer that maybe does this, which I don't know that there are any that do this, whatever. But for whatever reason, it cheeses me off every time I use the dryer that I have to push that button because I want things to actually be dry and not nigh dry.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's my little rant.
Wow, you really feel strongly about it. But you're right.
I do.
I haven't thought about it that way before. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, if you wanted it, what it should be is a less dry. There should be a less dry option. Like
you should be dry,
and then you can have less dry,
damp, and not run at all.
And then, like, why even? Yeah, like tumble. Yeah. Just tumble.
We'll annoy your clothing, and that's it.
I'll tumble for you.
It'll still be. Hey, thank you. That's Boy George. But he was dry. He's dry.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Maybe it was a little wet. I don't know. But yeah. So there's that. But
well, okay. I could go on. I'm not going to. I'm putting this. I'm putting this notepad. I'm putting this Post-it to bed. Here you go. Over there. Affresh. I'm going to look for the option when I get home. I don't think it's there. I feel like I've spotted all the things, but I don't know. Maybe I'll discover. You discovered a section of your dishwasher I didn't know existed. So maybe there's
yeah. And that's what
that does make me wonder about. Have you cleaned out is there like a filter? There must be a filter in the washer too?
I guess so. Yeah, because I mean, there would be no reason that would not need the same kind of filter in it that the dishwasher does.
Yeah.
Because it's clearly a water type filter thing, right? Like, it's not. This goes beyond just filtering out pieces of food. This is clearly accumulating the white minerals that are in our water.
Right.
And which is the white mineral content of our untreated water is astonishing. The size of our pans and stuff where you pour out like pasta water and stuff like that, like covered in this white stuff, and like where
or
the water
counter,
drips.
if water ever collects on the counter a little bit maybe or something, where
the water will drip. Even treated water doesn't get it all, because like with the water that drips out of our little water dispenser in the fridge, there's like a little
filtered,
friggin' like cave wall building up down there. There's like stalagmites and stuff about to happen there. It's limestone on our fridge. And like our various implements, like spoons and things, like the big stirring type spoons, they'll accumulate this white junk.
What was that artsy toy thing? You could get it when we were kids. It was like sand and water. It basically was just sand and water. But
you could make little.
Would sell it. You could sculpt things and stuff.
Yeah.
Basically, it was just sand and it was like colored sand, right?
Yeah, as far as I remember. Isn't that all it was? I have to think that maybe there was some beyond
other stuff in it. Something poisonous, probably.
My mom would have totally been like, "We have wet sand at home."
Did you own one?
I don't think I ever had one of those.
I don't think we did either. I don't think I ever had an No, not etch. What's the other thing? The thing that draws. It's like circles. It's like it would spin.
Oh, spirograph.
I never had that either.
Is that what you're talking about?
I think so, because I remember like seeing the commercials and thinking like, oh, that looks like it would be fun, but not to the point that I would actually like add it to the list. Like I was very aware that if I add that to the list, I'd probably get it, and then that would be at the cost of not getting something cool.
Right, that would take up a slot. Yeah.
So like, that's just gonna be one of those things I have to live with.
One of my friends gets that.
Oh yeah, there's always the friend who had that thing, and you're like, oh god, I like a light bright. Yeah. Even as a kid, I realized this was I did too, but as a kid, I realized this is a joke. Like you can't use light bright.
Well, the thing is that
you have to use the paper, and you run out of the paper.
I think that might have started me on not wanting things that had consumables as part of them.
Yeah,
because I knew that it would only be able to. You could only do it as long as you had that weird,
and then what do you do
very
with it?
Coarse grain black paper. That bizarre.
Black
it's
paper. Right.
It's like even more coarse.
It's almost corrugated, but not quite.
Exactly, because it's worse than like construction paper. It was like some kind of bizarre stuff that they also used to like put on the sides of trucks or something. And it
was asbestos. Sure was asbestos.
And that's the thing, because you would try to do it without the paper, and you're like, well, this sucks, because there's all of the white light is like through the whole thing, and so you have to get the paper, and that's just it was terrible. And then because how can you doodle? How can you like explore? Because once you push one of those things in there, that's where it's got to be, because otherwise it's a white freaking hole.
Right. Either way, you're getting light through that thing. It might as well be colored at this point.
You can't erase.
So. Nowadays, there would be like the third-party company. It's like the people who make the little pods that go into the Keurig machine. So if you want to put regular coffee into the pod instead of using the Keurig, you can do that. And then nowadays there would be that company that sells here, just little dots. We sell
light bright
dots
erasers. You have to have 30 million of them.
Right. I just don't understand. I remember even as a kid thinking, what do I do with this now? It's not even like a picture you could hang on the wall or something. It's not a Lego. It's not.
And as long as that picture's there, you can't make another picture.
Right. And I know
you
me.
would try to
I'm not going to want to get rid of it.
by like pulling the paper off with the little pin with the things in there, and then of course that would never go right.
That's like saving Battleship mid-game or something. Like, okay,
right,
good luck. Yeah, those aren't going to go spilling everywhere. And what was with that? Like, you could never close Battleship without... Could you ever get it without the white and the red mixing together at some level? Like,
oh, God, no. Because the divider between the reds and the whites didn't go all the way up to the top. So, like, when the lid came down, it didn't provide any kind of seal. So, like... No,
and both sides need to close up. And you had to do it, like, with this, like, Indiana Jones, like, perfection. Like, you had to bring it up.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if you did it one side at a time, it all dumps out.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that.
Nope.
But that is a great game, though.
Oh yeah, it is a great game. Of course, like back in the day, I don't know how they work now, but when you opened it up and then the top green thing would have fallen off or whatever. I don't know. There's something very unsatisfactory about that. It's like I always wanted it to open up very nicely, but the top pegboard had always come off.
Oh, yours would fall off?
Yeah.
Maybe you had a faulty. You should have ordered a new part.
Yeah, I should have. Yeah. And if it didn't work, I could call the guy.
You could have called
Battleship repair guy.
You can always call the guy.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So, okay. Here's a good question for you. In terms of like the pantheon of games, like board games, right? Like if like, and I don't know, like childhood board games, right?
Yeah.
Not get all complex or anything, but like,
like the last time
what would you say?
We tried to play
I know.
Betrayal at House on the Hill.
Holy cow! That was great game, but like.
I love that
you really,
game so
what they
much.
don't tell you is that you need like 6 hours to actually set the game up and really understand what's about to happen.
Everybody playing needs their glasses. Because Emily couldn't read any of the cards because her glasses were in. Everything's so small. And yeah, that was just like many factors came together to make that evening a failure. But
it has all the potential.
Oh, right? Absolutely! I love that game.
But in terms of like games, like what would you say the top 5 like board games are? Like every child should own. Period.
Now, we're talking strictly board games.
Yeah.
Or are we branching into the card game genre?
No, I think we'll stick with board games. Yeah, just
board games is good.
Yeah.
I think that the one that I probably played the most of these sort of generic board games, because of course any Star Wars board game that came out, which I had, of course, I think 2 of them, and I played the hell out of those. But we have those. And
they had no real tie to Star Wars either.
Yeah, I mean, you're escaping the Death Star, but it's nothing
rolling dice.
Inherently Death Star about this. But I think I'm trying to remember. Sorry and Trouble were basically the same game.
Oh,
if I remember correctly, just get all of your pieces to the other place, and then other people were trying to stop you. Those are
games of aggression, though. Those are games where people get mad.
I liked Trouble more because it had the Pop-O-Matic pops the dice thing.
Oh, you push the little button. Yeah, that's fun.
The dome, and then the die would kind of flop around in there. That was pretty cool. Let's see what else. I hated Monopoly because nobody plays it right.
Oh, see, I was just making my list, and Monopoly's on my list.
Is it? See, and I think it's because nobody plays it right, and I didn't realize that was why I didn't like it.
Well, there's no right. That's the thing.
Well, there is a right.
It even says that in the. No, it says it in the rules. Like you can make your own rules. Like you can.
Well,
you
technically,
just have to
you can
agree
do
at the
that
outset.
with chess. It's just.
But you have to agree at the outset. Like these are the rules, right? Like
well,
are we allowed to take loans? Are we allowed? You have to buy the property? Blah blah blah.
Well, see, that's the thing. That's the part I think that's key is that when you land on the property, you either have to buy it or it goes up for auction. Somebody's getting that property. at the end of this turn. And that's the
Sound like the
key to
force-
moving this
I don't like-
game along.
Oh,
Because
no, I love a
otherwise,
long
it's
game of
700
Monopoly.
hours long, and it's just ridiculous.
I love that. Oh, the
I
kind you
hate
come
it.
back to the
God.
next day. Oh, I love that.
Because
Yeah.
I really have no interest in a... Because, I mean, if it was kind of fun, then that would be one thing. But going around in a circle and waiting for somebody to lose all their money is just like... Hey. And then the whole free parking thing. No, you don't get that money. That's not how that works.
Free parking. You got to get the money. See, we would have arguments just about the
And
rules.
it's, all of that contributes
We'd
to
have
this
to have a
just
compromise.
bizarre,
Like, okay, you get
unending
free
slog
parking, but
of
you have to buy a
death.
property.
The frickin' community chess death march that you have to go through to get to the end of this damn game.
I need one more on my list. I need one more. Okay, so
what else?
I know which one I think I'm going to go with. Oh no. Oh yes. Okay. Here's my top 5. For this minute.
Okay. Hit me.
Monopoly. Battleship.
Okay.
Checkers.
Checkers, really.
Just good old fashioned checkers. Yeah. Life.
Oh, yeah, Life.
Remember
I love
Life?
Life.
Game of Life. And Clue.
Clue, yeah. As kids, that one's a hard one, isn't it? Because
It's a great game.
you got to hit...
Great game.
Oh, the game is fantastic. But the, I mean, logical deduction. I'm like, what is there not to like about that game for me? But,
Yeah.
but yeah, like if you get that one kid that's too young to get what you're doing and how to do it,
Well,
and why it works, then that sucks because.
Well, yeah, you have to play. Yeah, right. I mean, you can't if you're playing, because you can make some educated guesses, right, in the direction.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and if you're not paying attention to what other people are doing and clearing and stuff, yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, kids, you get the 8-year-old kid, and he doesn't know how you're coming up with these answers. Yeah, I mean, I guess you can stomp him or just say, you don't get to play.
He's gotta learn. It's a cold, hard world.
But the problem is that when somebody tries to guess, well, that's the end of the game, isn't it? Because now you know who's in there. So, yeah, that one's one you have to be careful on. But yeah, I agree. Clue is a very, very good game. I love that game.
And Life, I think, was great. So the one that almost made the list that didn't, Payday. You remember Payday?
Oh yeah, I do remember Payday. For
Payday's
a while there,
fun.
I got Life and Payday mixed up, but then I played Life.
Well, they're very genre similar. Yeah.
Okay,
I
so
love those
here's
kinds of
the interesting question. What do you think about Risk? There's typically no middle ground.
I love
with
Risk, but I feel like I love Risk, but I feel like that doesn't fit with the kid shot. Like, I don't think you can't play Risk. Clue, you could potentially play with an 8-year-old, right? Risk, no.
I think Risk is simple enough for them to understand, but there's no way they're going to play it
like
effectively.
a 12-year-old, maybe.
Yeah.
13-year-old.
I mean, it's
sure.
these 5 guys will attack those 3 guys, and so I'll roll 3 dice, you roll 2. Yeah, I mean, it's simple enough in that regard, but like, it's kind of like what they say about chess, right? Like
shoot!
Minutes.
All right, hold on. I'm taking
minutes to learn, lifetime to master. I'm not saying that
I'm taking
Risk is on that level, but it's kind of like that.
Something's got to come off.
What did you remember?
I gotta get Stratego's got to get on here somewhere.
Stratego, really?
Oh yeah, you don't like Stratego? Oh, Stratego's great.
I am neither here nor there on Stratego. It's kind of a weird
Stratego.
sort of slightly more complicated version of War in cards.
Yeah, but there is a strategy to it, and
oh sure, yeah, that's what I mean. It's a little more complicated.
But also there's certain. Yeah, I love Stratego.
I think the pieces are neat. I like the board.
Yeah, it's a fun
Sometimes
game.
the board is like cooler to me than playing the game is.
Let's go. Monopoly's kind of like that because Monopoly you can get so creative with the boards. They have all the different branded boards and location-based boards and things like that. Those are fun. Trivial Pursuit is not really a kid's game.
Not really.
I think
no.
as like an adult, that's kind of a net. I think. Yeah, that would work. And I deliberately left chess off because, again, I think as
my 5-year-old nephew,
kids
I
play
destroy
chess.
him every time in chess.
That's so mean. Yet you won't play Clue with him.
Because you don't have a clue.
But you'll.
Because he's going to eat the cards and then like run off. And my sister listens to the show. She knows I'm right.
With card games, I think you have to have. I mean, does a deck of cards count? I mean, can you? Because you need a. I mean, you need like a deck of cards, right? Yeah, cards. Yeah, you need cards.
Well, I mean,
so
if you're looking for the best, card game there is, just a deck of cards, because you can play many different games with that. With Uno, you can pretty much just play Uno.
Then you're gonna need Uno. You gotta have Uno.
Certainly, if we're talking about card games, definitely need Uno, Milborn. What else? What do we got over there?
You got 2 more slots. You could
Most
go
of the card
with
games I play are like relatively new.
there's always the Cards Against Humanity, but I'm terrible at that. So
I love that game. There's a Jackbox kind of version of that I like even better.
Trying to think if there's another. I know there is another card game I played.
Yeah, all the ones I've got over there besides Milborn are pretty new and
wait. Isn't that word with that word game? Doesn't that involve cards?
Word game?
Yeah, I don't know what it's called. I'm making things up. Never mind. I don't know. Well, there's like categories.
Like Apples to Apples, that game?
Apples to Apples, that's the one I'm thinking of. Yeah, Apples to Apples. You play Apples to Apples. That's kind of a card
it's
game,
sort
right?
of, family-friendly Cards Against Humanity.
Yeah.
I mean, I play stuff like Munchkin and
Munchkin.
Yeah, we should play that sometime. It's a really funny game.
I know I like how you're actually eyeballing your shelf.
Yeah, because I got my shelf right there.
Because you can see stuff. It feels like a little bit like a cheat, but that's okay.
Kind of, but they're all, like I said, they're all like totally nerd games. Look, Settlers of Catan. That's what kids love. Settlers of Catan.
You're right.
Kids come running for a freaking thing of wheat and sheep.
Dominoes are weird.
Dominoes.
When I was a kid, I only thought dominoes were, because I was a child of the 80s, I only thought dominoes were used to basically set up really cool,
knock them over.
Like knock them over things.
There were like TV specials about that back then.
Yeah, it was great. It's the best. Evel Knievel and dominoes, right? But then at some point I realized people actually play dominoes. Yeah. It's like when I finally realized that people play jacks, like that jacks is actually a game.
Oh, right, yeah.
Like I didn't know that.
But a lot like Risk and Scrabble, you have to be a Domino's family. Like your family either is a Domino's family or it's not. And my family comes from a Domino's family. Now they don't play Domino's as much. They play it, but not as much as like when we would go to like the family reunions and stuff. There would be like 20 tables of people playing Domino's.
No, stop.
Oh yeah, Domino because this was out in the hills of Mississippi. And
they're heavy. They carry them all the way out into the hills.
Yeah. Well, they didn't hike them out there. Everybody's got a truck. But
why do you think they have a pickup?
Yeah, coming in like riding low because there's 7 million dominoes in the back. But yeah, it's always been like a family thing with us, the dominoes. And then do you play regular old dominoes, which I'm sure has a name other than just dominoes, or do you play?
I've never played dominoes in my life.
Or do you play Trash Train, which is a special kind of dominoes that's sort of different, and there's other dominoes variants and things.
I can tell you which one I'm more interested in. Just the name.
Yeah, and that's the one I like the best too. That's the one I think is more fun. But
Trash Train.
Yeah, it's hard to explain. Fun. It's you take the double of I think you start with the 6 or the 9 or the 12 or these weird dominoes that are like 25 25s and stuff. But anyway, you start with the biggest double, and then everybody plays off of that. And then if you can't play on one, like there's 6 branches that come off of that. And I don't know. There's no point in me trying to explain it on a freaking podcast. But yeah, look it up. Trash Train.
It's a very visual medium. Yeah.
Well, I would need like diagrams and a PowerPoint presentation.
I bet there's an app. I
I will almost guarantee there's one. Yeah.
Yeah.
If somebody hasn't come up with that app yet, then
I ain't gonna be me. But
then I'm trademarking it and getting on Fiverr and getting some guy to code it up for me.
Okay.
I'm not coding myself. What are you talking about?
You have to explain. He's like, yeah, you have to explain this to me.
I'm a blue sky solutioneer, man. I don't do the actual grunt work.
No, I mean, except for replacing the parts of your dishwasher.
Clearly, I don't do that enough, though. Because
you will.
I didn't even know some of that was in there.
You draw the line. I'm gonna draw the line of coding. That's not not happening.
Yeah.
That's definitely not happening.
I'll replace the thing in my dishwasher, but I'm not coding anything.
I have to apologize. And am I allowed to talk about the thing I have to apologize for? For the list?
It'll be up by the time this comes out. Yeah.
Because I was thinking, you asked me, you said, like, think about some other things that we've maybe talked about or referenced or
let's get some background. And
like, you
guys, the listeners will probably already be aware of this by the time it comes out, but we're putting out an official Spotify playlist that has songs that we mention on this show and songs inspired by things that we talk about on this show. And I came up with about, 15, 20 songs, and then I was having trouble coming up with more. I knew there were more out there, and so I threw it out to Jason. I said, hey, Jason, what are some other songs that we talked about on the show? And I gave him a screenshot, and then I was like, you know what? There's a button on here that allows me to share this so that you can collaborate on it, which I thought was really cool. I had no idea that was a thing. Sent that to you. And you put one song on. You're like, obviously there was one that was right on the top of your head. And then I put a couple on, and then I hadn't looked at it for 12 hours. And then just before we started recording tonight, I opened it up.
I see now.
There's 40 songs from the Space 1999 soundtrack on there. And I was like, okay, that's an interesting direction. I know that we've mentioned it in one episode. I don't know that I think that warrants putting every single track on this soundtrack on here. And it was like, I didn't want to pull them off because that would be a jerk. Like, hey, help me do this. Oh, but don't do that, But
no, but that's totally what you should have. Because
I
clearly hit add album. I only hit add album rather than... I only wanted the one thing. Oh, no, I just hearted something.
The main theme or whatever?
Get rid of it. Oh, can you get rid of it? Hold on.
Yeah, but you have to go to the 3 dots and choose remove from playlist. So it's...
I know, I added it to the queue now. Oh, my gosh.
And
I'll do the work. I'm sorry. It was just the main titles. I was trying to get the main titles. That's it.
The playlist is now like an hour long.
Well, any good playlist would be, but it shouldn't be an hour of Space 1999.
Right.
As awesome as the soundtrack is, you just need a little taste of it. You don't need...
At that point, it was only 28 minutes long, and this filled out the rest of the hour with Space 1999 music. And then I love the fact that at the very end, you have a... what is it? It's...
well, I don't know.
You put another song.
Oh, is that
at
the end now? Did that go to the end?
What's
happening?
So I
didn't put it at the end. Yeah. I mean, I just put it after.
That's
I
at
put
the bottom of the playlist.
Space 1999. Yeah, it's what's happening. You know how that was actually really difficult to find. By the way, you can't just search for what's happening theme song, what's happening television show. Yeah. No. You have to search for what's happening. Henry Mancini. Like, you have to look You have to search for that.
That floored me that's Henry Mancini.
I didn't either. I didn't know either until I had to Google search trying to find that song. I was like, how is this difficult to how's this difficult? Oh my gosh. Sorry. There's a lot of songs.
There's a lot of them.
I'm almost done.
I think there's more songs than there are episodes of Space 99.
Okay. There we go.
But anyway,
now it's better. Okay.
I had a like 5 or 6 CDs back in the day because I did an 80s radio show for a while, and I wanted to get some TV themes just to use in the show, and so I got like 5 of television's greatest hits, and they would be like decades and like this one is all sci-fi and this one is all whatever, and they were fantastic, and it was always awesome to just like, I'm gonna put it in there and we're gonna hit shuffle in the car, and everybody's got like to figure out which show this is, who can guess what show this theme is from first, and it was so much fun. And then stuff like that is just not on Spotify, which stinks. They'll have now that's what I call dubstep 14 or whatever on there, but like TV themes is much better. Let's do with that.
Well, yeah, I think you just have to know what to search for. Like I was saying, you can't find that if you search what's happening television theme song, you're not going to find it. Mm-hmm. Period. Yeah. I had to go out to Google, look it up, find out who the artist was, and then go back and search for it that way. I thought maybe it even had a different name, like an obscure name that we didn't really know. Like
Reruns theme or something like
that. Right. Something.
Man in Motion. The thing that I thought was kind of interesting is that you can search for lyrics and they'll give you that song. Because I was trying to get that They Might Be Giants song. Now you're older than you've ever been, and now you're even older. It's just called Older, and if you try to search for Older, you get like a million songs, right?
Everything you don't want, right?
And so I put in, and now you're even older, which is the lyric, and bam, it got the exact song that I wanted was top of the list, and I thought that was really kind of neat. That if you search,
and no other song apparently has that lyric.
Yeah, and that one happens to have the name of the song in the lyric. But I bet you, like, if you had that thing, I know that song, and it's where the guy goes, and I want to have some cheese or whatever. And if you just search for that, it'll give you the song. Yeah, it's I think it's neat. That's really cool. See, that way,
cool.
Computers are cool.
I've got to settle though on I really need to buckle down and settle on a music provider because I subscribe to Spotify, I subscribe to Apple Music, I subscribe to YouTube Music, it's YouTube, whatever it is now. I don't know. They keep changing the name of it. Well, because that takes because it used to be and we've talked about this before. I'm going to go through it again.
Hey,
I used to have Songza. And I loved Songza.
Oh, yeah, you've mentioned
period. That. It was amazing. Best music app I've ever owned. It was fantastic. I didn't own it, but you know what I mean. Anyway, subscribe to it. Google bought Songza, incorporated it into its whole Google Music thing, and then it killed all the things that were great about it. And then Google Music stopped. Google Play Music stopped existing and was folded into YouTube Music, right? Which I think then became like YouTube Red or something. I don't know, but so now I have but the problem is that YouTube, like subscribing to the YouTube Music thing, because it's unified now with the whole YouTube Red or whatever it is. I don't have advertisements with YouTube, so I don't want to get rid of it because I don't have to watch any ads. When I'm watching YouTube
I've got
now.
YouTube Premium, I guess is what it used to be.
That's
Red,
what they
but
call
I
it
think
now.
It's Premium now.
Yeah, they keep changing.
I didn't realize that music came with that.
Yeah.
I just want to get rid of the freaking ads. I was like, okay, you've extorted me. I will negotiate with terrorists here.
Right. Yeah. Now we're just negotiating.
You're like, oh, well, you keep showing you ads unless you give us money. Okay, whatever.
Right. Right. And then, so I have all these. I have all three of these. I do not subscribe to Amazon Prime Music because I feel like that's junk anyway. But
is that
I
on
do
top
have,
of Amazon Prime? I guess it would be.
Yeah.
So
It is. Yeah, it's on top.
I just do the Spotify.
So
That's all I want to do. Well, my
I know, but
car
I love Apple Music.
has a native Spotify, whatever client on it that I can use, which makes me happy. And another thing that Spotify does that I can't find in any other service, not that I look terribly hard, but when I create like a playlist, at the bottom it'll have like 10 suggestions, like going off of what you've already got in your playlist. You're like, what about these? What do you think about these? And then I'll be like, okay, I don't like any of those. And then you can hit the refresh button and it'll just keep running through. And I can't tell you how many times I've gone, oh yeah, I need to get that song. You know, it really works well. Whatever algorithm
I haven't played with that much.
they use.
So you just refresh it?
Yeah, you hit the refresh, you keep hitting the refresh, and then it'll bring up 10 new songs and 10 new songs, all of them that kind of fit with what you're doing in your playlist here. And it's kind of odd because the algorithm that fuels that is really, really good. The algorithm that shuffles your music is garbage. I will have like...
What? Does it play the same stuff again and again or something? Or?
Right. It's like, for whatever reason...
Like how do you poorly shuffle if you're a computer algorithm? Like, how do you...
I don't know,
your job.
but it does it, man. Well, I think one of the things it does, and iTunes used to do this too.
Is it too random?
Is that like, if you have a playlist of like 1,500 songs or something... You listen to it the first time and you get through about 30 songs. Well, now it knows that you've listened to those 30 songs. And it goes, well, he likes those 30. And so it'll throw some of those at you again. Well, and then it might get some of the other ones. But now those you've heard twice.
You need a smart playlist.
So
this is why I created my Happy Music playlist. Was because I wanted to hear the music that I hadn't listened to in the past 2 weeks that also had a certain like rating.
And I haven't found a way to do that with Spotify. Because
Apple Music.
Because I'll hear like 5 Sting songs in a row, and it's like, okay, I love Sting, but
I like Sting. Right?
There's quite literally a day of music in this playlist. Why am I hearing the same 25 songs all the stinking time? I'm to the point where I want to just go in and take out Billy Joel's Greatest Hits Volume 1 and 2 because it hits me with 5 songs from that stinking thing every time I get in a car. And it's like, wow, you've made me hate this album.
I've got a 5-minute drive. Like, serious, a little novelty would be nice. Like,
right.
5 minutes. I got
play a thing that I haven't heard yet. There's got to be like 10 songs on this thing that have not seen the light of day since I created this playlist.
And when you get it, and when you hear those, aren't you like, oh, I totally
forgot I put that on here. Or I'll do the thing where I'll hear a song somewhere else, like at a restaurant or something, and I'll be like, ooh, I need to put that on my main playlist or whatever. And it's like, hey, you already have this on your playlist. It's like, oh, really? Well, that's news to me. I haven't heard it yet.